May I have your leftovers, Ma? The voice came from the floor beside her table. It was soft. It was shaking. It cut through the fancy music and the clink of glasses like a bell. May I have your leftovers, Ma? Olivia's fork stopped in midair. The red light from the tall candle touched the silver fork and made it shine. The whole restaurant felt quiet to her, even though people were still talking. She turned her head and saw him. A man was kneeling on the marble floor of the Kingfisher, a very fancy restaurant on Madison Avenue in New York City. He was not old, maybe 35. His jeans were worn and torn at the knee. His t-shirt was thin and tired. A cloth sling crossed his chest, and in the sling were two tiny babies, one on the left and one on the right. Their small faces were pale. Their eyes were wide and hungry. They stared at Olivia's plate like it was the sun. A security guard at the door started walking fast toward them. His shoes clicked hard. People turned to look. Some whispered. Some frowned. This place was not a place where someone knelt on the floor and asked for leftovers. Olivia looked into the man's eyes. Something moved in her chest, like a door opening that had been shut for a long time. Before she could speak, the baby on the left gave a tiny cough, a small bird sound. The baby's head tipped forward. The little mouth fell open. The baby's eyes rolled and the small body grew too still. The room spun. The guard kept coming. The man's hands shook. The baby's head hung like a broken flower. And Olivia's heart began to race. Everything froze. Everything changed. The candle flame bent in the air as if the world took a sudden breath. Then the world snapped back. Earlier that evening. On Monday at exactly 7 in the evening, Olivia sat alone at her table by the window. Outside the glass, yellow taxis slid past like bright fish. People hurried along the sidewalk in coats and scarves. It was early fall and the air had that new cold that makes cheeks pink. Olivia wore a simple black dress that fit her like it had been made just for her. A small gold necklace sat at her neck. Her watch ticked tiny and bright. She was a millionaire. She owned many clothing stores in the city. She had worked hard for years, day and night. She had built something strong. People knew her name. People smiled at her in meetings. People took her to nice places and told her she was amazing. But the chair across from her was empty. She had ordered fried rice with herbs, roast chicken with crisp skin, and a green salad that smelled like lemon. A tall glass of sparkling water waited by her hand. The food looked perfect, but she was not hungry. Her stomach felt tight, the way it does when you hear bad news and try to stay calm. She lifted her fork anyway because that is what you do at dinner. You take a bite. You breathe. You keep going. That was when the voice asked for her leftovers. Back to the floor beside her table. The guard reached for the man's shoulder. He said in a firm voice that this was not allowed. He told the man to stand up and step outside. People at nearby tables pretended not to stare, but they stared. Olivia lifted her hand. The guard stopped. He was trained to listen to calm hands and steady eyes. Olivia had both. "It is okay," she said. The guard looked at her, then at the man, then back at her. He nodded and took one step back, still close, still watching. The man looked up at Olivia. His eyes were tired, but they were not empty. They were full of something strong. There was no trick inside them, no anger and no blame. There was only a father's fear. There was only a father's love. He tried to lift the baby's head with his fingertips. His hands shook. His lips moved like he was saying a prayer without sound. Olivia stood so fast her chair made a soft scrape. She moved around the table and knelt on the floor too. The marble was cold. Her dress brushed the ground. She did not care. "May I hold him?" she asked. The man hesitated for half a breath. Then he nodded. He slipped the small body from the sling and placed the baby in Olivia's arms. The baby was warm but too limp. The little chest rose and fell in short, fast breaths. The skin was hot on the forehead and a little sticky. Tiny fingers curled and uncurled like they were trying to catch the air. "Water," Olivia said to no one and to everyone. A server ran. Another server brought a small bowl and napkins. Someone brought ice. Someone else brought a clean spoon. The restaurant was a sea and all the waves moved toward the same point. Olivia dabbed the baby's forehead with the cool napkin. She kept her voice soft and steady and close. "It is okay, little one," she whispered. "You are safe. Breathe with me. In and out. In and out. The man watched her hands. He watched the baby's face the way people watch the sky before a storm. He did not blink much. If he blinked, he might miss the moment the wind changed. What is his name? Olivia asked. Noah, the man said. His voice was rough and quiet. The other one is Ethan. I'm Olivia, she said. She looked at the other baby. Ethan blinked up at her, dry tears making thin lines on his cheeks. Noah gave a small cough again. Then he made a soft moan, the kind of sound that makes your bones feel hollow. He turned his face toward the smell of food on the table, then away as if the smell was too big for him. He needs a bit of food and water, the man said. We have not eaten since morning. Olivia looked at her plate of fried rice, at the roast chicken with its shiny skin, at the green salad waiting to be chosen. Her hand moved before her thoughts did. She pulled the table toward them and set the plate on the floor. She tore a small piece of the chicken and dipped it in the broth on the plate to make it soft. She cooled it with her breath and pressed it gently against Noah's lips. Thank you for walking with us, David said. Olivia nodded. She reached into her purse and pulled out a card with her phone number written on it. She placed it on the small shelf by the picture. If you need anything, call me, she said. He looked at the card. His hand hovered near it but did not touch it. He looked at her. May I ask you something, he said. Of course, Olivia said. Why did you help us, he asked. People looked at us tonight. Most did not want to see. But you saw and you helped. What? Olivia opened her mouth. She had many answers and also none. She thought of the empty chair at her dinner table. She thought of doors that shut and stayed shut for too long. She thought of a little girl in Queens who had once watched her mother count coins with a steady smile and a tired back. She thought of a night when a stranger had paid for their bus ride when her mother's wallet had gone missing. She thought of how that small kindness had stuck to her heart and never let go. Because someone once helped me, she said. And because I do not want to forget how to be a person. David nodded. It was a quiet nod that meant he understood more than the words. A wind came off the river. The van creaked a little. Somewhere above, a train crossed the bridge and made the air hum. Olivia took a small step back toward the sidewalk. She did not want to leave, but she knew it was time to give space. She looked once more at the babies. Their chests rose and fell, rose and fell. Then Noah's breath hitched. It was small. It was easy to miss. It sounded like the world catching, like a zipper stuck for a second on a thick coat. Olivia froze. David was already moving. He knelt. He touched Noah's cheek. It was hot again. Noah frowned in his sleep and made a tiny sound deep in his throat. Then his breathing turned fast and shallow. Olivia's mind sharpened like glass. She reached for the small bottle of fever medicine from her purse where the nurse had placed it. Her fingers were steady. She twisted the cap and drew a tiny dose into the dropper. A light swept across the van. Headlights. The black SUV pulled in behind them, blocking the narrow street. The engine stayed on. The rear door opened halfway. A man in a dark jacket stepped out and stood with one foot still inside, like he was not sure if he belonged to the car or the night. Olivia's skin prickled. David looked up. The man in the jacket lifted a hand as if to wave. He did not wave. He pointed, slow and careful, at the picture taped inside the van, the one with the bright-eyed woman. Is that her? He said. His voice was flat and strange, like a voice on a phone with bad signal. David stood. His body shifted in front of the babies without him thinking about it. Who are you? He asked. The man did not answer. He reached into his jacket pocket. Noah's breath went tight again. His lips were a shade lighter than a moment ago. The dropper in Olivia's hand shook once and then went still as she forced herself to be calm. Give me the baby, the man in the jacket said. It did not sound like a request. Olivia took a small step forward, putting herself shoulder to shoulder with David. She felt the shape of fear in her chest, but she also felt something bigger behind it. It was the same thing she had felt when she looked into David's eyes on the marble floor. It was a door that had opened and let in a rush of air. The man in the jacket reached farther into his pocket. Noah's breath hitched again, then faltered. The world held its breath with him. And then everything happened at once. Before we continue, I would love you to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. Let's spread the love together. Comment with where you are watching us from so that your county can feel loved. Olivia held the dropper of fever medicine. David stood in front of the babies like a wall. "Give me the baby," the man said. "No," David said. His voice was quiet, but it did not shake. Olivia kept her eyes on Noah. She squeezed one tiny drop into his mouth. Noah swallowed. She gave one more small drop. She stroked his cheek with the back of her finger. "Breathe, little one," she whispered. "In and out. In and out." The man pulled something out of his pocket and held it up. It was not a weapon. It was a folded paper with a photo. The photo showed a woman with bright eyes. She looked a little like the woman in the small picture taped inside the van. "Is this her?" he asked. "Is this Rachel?" David's shoulders tightened. He did not answer. The man looked from the photo to the small picture in the van and back. He gave a slow nod, like he had solved a small piece of a bigger puzzle. He tucked the paper away. "We do not want trouble," Olivia said. Her voice was calm. "The clinic is 2 blocks away. The baby needs care. Please move your car." The man stared at her for a long second. His eyes were hard to read. Then someone inside the SUV spoke in a low voice. The man turned his head to listen. He looked at Olivia one more time. He looked at David. He looked at the babies. He stepped back into the SUV. The door shut. The engine hummed. The car slid away and turned the corner. It was gone as fast as it had come. Olivia let out the breath she had been holding. David let his shoulders drop. They looked at each other. They did not say anything for a moment. "We should go back to the clinic," Olivia said. "Just to be safe." David nodded. He lifted the babies, snug in the sling. They walked quickly side by side through the cool night air. The river made a soft sound behind them, like someone whispering secrets to the dark. Inside the clinic again, the nurse brought them to the same blue room. She checked Noah and Ethan one more time. She gave a small smile. "The medicine is helping," she said. "Keep him warm. Small sips of water. Small bites of soft food. If his breathing changes again, go to the hospital on 68th Street. They have a children's ER." "Thank you," Olivia said. The nurse paused. "Did someone follow you earlier?" she asked gently. "A car stopped near us," Olivia said. "We are okay now." The nurse nodded. She looked like she wanted to say more, but she did not. She handed them an extra small blanket and a tiny bulb syringe in a clear bag. "For stuffy noses," she said. "It helps babies breathe." They left the clinic. The street felt empty and new. A bus rolled past with only 3 people inside. A small dog trotted across the crosswalk like it owned the city. "Thank you," David said as they walked. "You stayed. You did not have to. You stayed anyway." Olivia looked at him. "I am here," she said. "That is all." They reached the van. The babies were asleep again. Their mouths were relaxed. Their cheeks were warm, not hot. Noah's breath sounded better. Olivia still nodded. Fast but not scary. She looked once more at the twins. "It is late," Olivia said. She looked at David's tired eyes. Rest. "You tomorrow, should too," David said. "I will come by tomorrow morning. We will get real food, warm blankets, and we will talk." David gave a small smile. He looked like a person who had been standing in rain and had finally found a dry step. "Good night," he said. "Good night," Olivia said. She walked to the corner and called a car. The driver pulled up in a small sedan. She got in. As they turned onto the next street, she looked back. She saw the shape of the van in the dark. She saw the faint glow of a small lamp inside. She pressed her palm flat on her chest and felt her heart beat. The next morning, Olivia woke up before the sun. The sky was gray with a thin pink line at the edge. She made oatmeal on the stove and filled 2 containers. She packed roast chicken, soft bread, bananas, and yogurt into a big bag. She added diapers, wipes, 2 tiny sweaters, and little hats with bare ears. She took a breath. She felt ready. Her phone buzzed. It was her store manager. "Big day," the message said. "Buyers at 10. Meeting at 1. Are we still on?" Olivia stared at the screen. She typed, "Move the 10 to tomorrow. Keep the 1. I will be in by noon." "Copy," the manager replied. "Everything okay?" "Yes," Olivia wrote. "Everything is okay. Thank you." She put on jeans, a warm sweater, and sneakers. She tied her hair back. She picked up the big bag and stepped into the hall. Her building's doorman, Mr. Reed, gave a friendly smile. "Morning, Miss Hart," he said. "Cold one. Need a car?" "Not today, Mr. Reed," she said. "I am walking." "Thank you." She walked fast. The city was still waking. The sidewalk smelled like fresh coffee. She passed a bakery with warm light and fogged windows. A man in a blue jacket set out baskets of red apples. A woman jogged by with a bright scarf and a happy dog. At the river, the air was colder. The wind made her eyes water a little. She tucked her chin into her scarf and kept going. She turned onto the narrow street under the bridge. The van was there. The side door was open. David sat just inside with Ethan in his lap and Noah on the blanket. He looked up when he heard her steps. "You came," he said. His voice had both surprise and relief. "I said I would," Olivia said. She lifted the bag. "Breakfast." David laughed softly. It was the first time she had heard his laugh. It sounded like a guitar string plucked once, clear and honest. They ate oatmeal with soft banana mixed in for the twins. Olivia fed Ethan, tiny spoon by tiny spoon. David fed Noah the same way. The babies opened their mouths like small birds. Their eyes were bright today. Their cheeks were not pale. When they were full, they made soft, happy sounds and watched the world like it was a show made just for them. Olivia showed David the tiny hats. He put one on Ethan's head and then one on Noah's. The hats had little bare ears. The twins looked at each other and blinked as if they were thinking, "You look funny and I love you." "Thank you," David said. He looked down at the bag. He saw diapers and sweaters and everything neat and new. He swallowed. "You keep giving. I do not know how to hold all of it, but I am trying." "You do not have to hold it all at once," Olivia said. "One thing at a time." David nodded. He looked at the small picture taped inside the van. The picture of him, a baby, and the bright-eyed woman. "Who is Rachel?" Olivia asked gently. "The man last night asked about her." David's face grew still. He was quiet for a moment. "Rachel is the boy's mother," he said. "We were together. It was hard. She left 3 months ago. She said she could not live in a van. She said she needed more. She followed someone who promised more." "I'm sorry," Olivia said. David's jaw moved like he was thinking of the right words. "I made mistakes," he said. "I trusted the wrong partner in my business. I lost money. I tried to fix it. Then a small fire happened in our storage space. People said I caused it. I did not. The case was dropped, but by then the work was gone. We fell fast." He looked at the burn mark on his wrist, the circle shape. "Pipe was hot," he said. "I grabbed it to close the valve. That is all. It left a ring. People looked at it and decided I was a liar anyway." Olivia listened. She did not rush to fix the story. She let it sit between them like a small box that would be opened slowly. The babies played with their toes on the blanket. Olivia smiled at them. They looked back, serious and curious. "What will you do today?" Olivia asked. "I clean offices on Wednesdays," David said. "A man named Mr. Lewis gives me a few hours. I bring the boys in the sling. They watch the lights on the copy machine and laugh. If you want," Olivia said, "I can watch them for 2 hours. You can work faster. We can meet at the park by noon." David looked up fast. His eyes showed both hope and worry. "I will stay close," Olivia said. "Right there on the bench by the fountain. I will text you every 15 minutes. You can call any time. If you do not want that, it is okay. I will not push." David looked at Noah and Ethan. He looked at Olivia. He took a slow breath. "Okay," he said. 2 hours. The fountain bench. They walked together to the office building on Lexington Avenue. David showed his ID at the desk. The guard nodded. He knew David. He did not smile, but he did not frown. Sometimes in the city, that is kindness too. Olivia took the twins to the small park nearby. She spread the blanket on the bench and sat with them. She made faces. They made faces back. She tapped their little noses and they giggled. She sent a photo to David. He replied with a thumbs-up emoji. It made Olivia laugh. It felt good to laugh in the morning air. A woman with a stroller stopped near them. "Twins," the woman said, smiling. "How sweet." "They are perfect," Olivia said. "Are you their mom?" the woman asked. Olivia opened her mouth. The truth was a path with many turns. She chose one. "I am their friend," she said. "Their dad is working nearby." The woman smiled again and kept walking. A pigeon strutted by, looking important. Noah reached out with a tiny hand. The pigeon hopped away like it had other places to be. Every 15 minutes, Olivia sent a message. "All good." We smiled at a pigeon. "All good." We had water. "All good." Ethan learned to clap. At noon, David walked into the park. He looked tired, but his eyes were bright. He took the babies into his arms and kissed the tops of their heads. He thanked Olivia again and again until she lifted her hand and said, "Enough, or I will start to cry." He laughed that one clear note again. It was time for the 1 o'clock meeting at Olivia's store. She had to go. They agreed to meet at the clinic tomorrow for a checkup the nurse had suggested. They said goodbye. Olivia walked toward her store on 5th Avenue. Her mind was half on work and half on tiny bear hats. At a stoplight, a car slowed beside her. A black SUV. Her chest tightened. She looked. It was not the same one. The driver was an older woman who smiled and fixed her scarf in the mirror. The light turned green. The car drove away. Her badge swinging lightly on its lanyard. Beside her was a woman in a gray coat. Her face was sharp and careful, her eyes bright like polished glass. She stood straight, her chin lifted, her lips pressed in a line that looked like a smile but felt like a warning. Rachel. The name left David's mouth in a whisper, almost like it hurt to say. His grip on the sling holding the twins tightened until his knuckles went pale. The baby stirred at the pressure, Ethan giving a small whimper. Olivia's fingers clenched around the photo in her hand. The words on the back, "She wants them," burned in her mind. She tucked it into her pocket quickly before Miss Carter could see. Rachel's eyes went straight to the sling, to Noah and Ethan. The tight smile widened. "My babies," she said softly, though her voice carried across the marble lobby like it owned the space. "I knew I'd find you." David's whole body tensed. "You left," he said, his voice low and steady but shaking at the edges. 3 months ago. You walked away." Rachel stepped forward slowly like a cat toward something small. "I didn't walk away, David. I survived. I did what I had to do. And now I'm here to take them back." Ethan whimpered again. Noah shifted, pressing his face into David's chest. David rocked them gently, his eyes locked on Rachel. Olivia stepped closer, placing herself between them without even thinking. She lifted her chin. "You can't just walk in here and take them," she said firmly. "Not like this." Rachel's smile tilted, almost mocking. "And who are you?" she asked, her eyes flicking to Olivia's necklace, her sweater, her clean sneakers. "The millionaire who thinks she can buy her way into other people's families?" Olivia's chest tightened, but she didn't step back. Miss Carter raised her hand. "Let's all stay calm," she said evenly. "I'm here to assess the situation. The children's safety is my priority." She looked at Rachel. "Are you their mother?" Rachel straightened, her voice now soft, almost sweet. "Yes, I carried them. I gave birth to them. Paul and Silas." "No," David cut in sharp and pained. "Their names are Noah and Ethan." Rachel's smile froze for a second, then returned. "No matter what you call them, they're mine." She turned to Miss Carter. "This man can't care for them. He sleeps in cars, scrapes for food. Look at him. Look at his clothes. And look at me, I can give them a real home." David's jaw clenched. His eyes burned, but his voice stayed low. "You abandoned them. You abandoned me. They were crying in the night, sick, hungry, and you were gone." Rachel's face flickered for just a second, but she covered it with a laugh. "You always loved playing the hero, didn't you? But you're no hero, David. You're just a man who failed." The words stabbed. Olivia saw it in his face, how they hid old wounds. But then he looked down at the twins, at their small hands curled in the sling, and his shoulders steadied. Miss Carter was writing notes fast. "We'll need to review custody papers," she said, "and living arrangements. Until then, the twins cannot be moved anywhere without approval." Rachel folded her arms. "Fine. Then let's do this properly. I'll fight for them." She glanced at Olivia, eyes narrowing. "And when I win, I'll make sure they never see you again." Olivia's heart slammed in her chest, but before she could speak, the twins suddenly began to cry. Ethan first, loud and sharp, then Noah, weaker but desperate. Their cries bounced off the lobby walls, sharp and cutting. David held them close, rocking fast, his voice breaking as he whispered, "Should Daddy's here. Daddy's here." Rachel reached out a hand, her nails painted bright red. "Give them to me," she said. "They need their mother." "No," David said, his voice like stone now. The twins wailed louder, the sound filling every corner of the lobby. People passing through stopped and stared. Even Mr. Reed, the doorman, looked frozen. Olivia stepped forward, her hands raised like a shield. "Back away, Rachel. You're scaring them." Rachel's smile cracked. "You don't tell me what to do," she hissed. The air was thick, charged, ready to break. Miss Carter stepped between them, her voice firm. "Enough. We'll settle this in a safe place, not here." Everyone calmed down. But before she could finish, the glass front doors of the building swung open hard. A man in a black cap stepped in, moving quick. He scanned the room once, his eyes sharp and cold. It was the same man from the SUV. And in his hand was something small and dark, hidden but clear enough to make Olivia's breath catch in her throat. The baby screamed louder. The man's voice cut through the cries. "The kids. Now." And everything froze again. The man in the black cap stepped into the lobby. His eyes were cold. His hand held something small and dark by his side. Noah and Ethan cried louder. The sound filled the room and shook the glass doors. "The kids. Now," he said. Mr. Reed, the doorman, lifted the phone under his desk with one hand. His other hand pressed a button that no one could see. Miss Carter raised her badge. "I am with Child Services," she said, steady and clear. "Put that down. Step back." The man stared at her badge. He did not move. Rachel took one step forward. "Who sent you?" she asked. Her voice was sharp. "Who are you working for?" The man looked at Rachel, then at David, then right at Olivia. "You know who," he said. Olivia's heart thumped hard. She felt the photo in her pocket like a hot stone. She kept her face calm. "Do not touch the children," Olivia said. "They're safe. We will talk." The man lifted the small dark object a little. It was a pepper spray can. His thumb rested on the top. One press could fill the air and make everyone blind and choking. "Stop," Miss Carter said. "Think about cameras. Think about the police. Put it down." The man flicked his eyes to the ceiling. The red light of a camera blinked back at him. He hesitated. His jaw tensed. The baby screamed. David rocked them, but his hands were shaking now. Rachel's eyes flashed to the sling, then back to the man. "Last chance," the man said. Olivia moved first. She did not run at him. She did not grab him. She did something simple. She stepped between him and the twins and lifted her hands, palms out, like she was pushing a door. "Look at me," she said. "If you spray, it hits me first. Not them." The man's finger bent a little on the spray top. "Do it," Olivia said, voice low. "And you go to jail. The cameras see you. The police are on the way." A beep sounded under the desk. Mr. Reed's eyes met Olivia's for a half second. He gave the smallest nod. Sirens were far away at first, then closer. The man heard them too. His jaw twitched. He slid the spray back into his pocket, not because he was kind, but because he was careful. "This is not over," he said. "Who sent you?" Rachel asked again. Her voice cracked on the last word. The man's eyes shifted to her. For a breath, his face softened with something like pity. Then it was hard again. He turned and pulled the door open. "Wait," Miss Carter said. "Your name now." But the man was already out on the sidewalk. The glass door swung shut behind him. The sirens were loud now. 2 police cars rounded the corner and stopped by the curb. Officers stepped out and ran for the doors. The lobby was full of sound. The babies cried. The police spoke quick and clear. Miss Carter explained fast. Mr. Reed gave details in short sentences. The buyers from Olivia's store who had come to drop a note backed away, wide-eyed. People in the building whispered. "Extra patrol will circle the block," one officer said. "Lobby will be watched. If you see the man or the SUV, call 911, then call me." He left a card. "Thank you," Olivia said. The officers left. The door clicked shut. The apartment was quiet again except for soft baby sounds. Miss Carter sat forward. "Here is what we will do," she said. "Emergency placement for the night. Because of the threat, I want the children in a safe, stable home. Ms. Hart, you can host with my approval if you agree to conditions. No leaving the building. Keep doors locked. I will return in the morning with a colleague to reassess." "I agree," Olivia said. Miss Carter turned to David. "You will stay here with the boys," she said. "You are their primary caregiver today. You will not leave them." "I will not," David said. Miss Carter faced Rachel. "You may stay if Miss Hart agrees, but you cannot remove the children. You cannot be alone with them in the hall or outside. You must accept a supervised plan tonight." Rachel's throat moved. "I agree," she said. Her voice was very small. Olivia nodded. "You can stay," she said. "We will make a bed for you on the couch." Miss Carter stood. "I will check in downstairs every hour," she said. "Text me if anything changes." She placed a small device on the table. "Emergency button. Push it and my phone rings." She left. The lock slid into place. For a moment, the apartment felt like a safe island. The city outside was a wide sea. They were on the island together. Olivia moved to the kitchen and made tea. She mashed a banana with yogurt for the twins. David held one baby. Rachel held the other. They fed them slowly with small spoons. There were no big words. There was only scoop, lift, and smile. The twins ate and then made tiny happy sounds. For 10 minutes, the world was simple. Then the power went out. The lights snapped off. The hum of the fridge died. The apartment fell into a dark that was not total, but it felt heavy. Olivia's breath caught. "Stay still," she said. A second later, the emergency lights in the hall clicked on, a weak glow through the door. The city lights still shone outside the window. It was only the building that had lost power. Her phone buzzed. A message from Mr. Reed lit the screen. "Power cut on floors 20 to 25. Engineer says it was done by hand in the sub-basement." We are checking. Stay put. Police informed. Olivia showed the message to David. His eyes met hers. Another message came. Miss Carter this time. Do not open the door. I am on the way up with a flashlight. A faint sound came from the hall. It was light like a shoe sliding carefully on carpet. Then a click at the lock. Not loud. Just a quick soft tick. Rachel froze. Did you hear that? She whispered. Olivia moved to the peephole and looked out. The hall was dim, blue and gray. No one stood there. She listened. The air hummed with the sound of empty space. Another tiny click. The kind that comes from metal touching metal. The lock, she whispered. Someone is trying the lock. David stood, babies pressed to his chest. He backed up into the kitchen doorway, putting a wall at his back. Stay behind me, he said to Rachel without looking away from the door. The tiny click stopped. A soft drag sound moved away from the door. Then silence. A sharp alarm shrieked through the building. Bright red strobes flashed in the hall. The fire alarm. The recorded voice came next. Attention. Attention. This is a fire alarm. Please use the stairs. Do not use the elevator. Do not open, Olivia said. Smoke could be in the hall. Her phone buzzed again. 2 messages at once. From Mr. Reed. Unknown person pulled alarm on 21. FDNY on the way. Stay in place. From Miss Carter. I am in the stairwell. Hall is smoky. I am coming to you. If smoke reaches your door, go to the second stairwell by the laundry room. A smell slid under the door. It was not heavy black smoke. It was a thin, sour smell that made the eyes sting. Pepper spray. Not fire. They sprayed the hall, Olivia said. They want us to open the door and run into it. Rachel covered her mouth with her sleeve. What do? We wait, Olivia said. We count to 60. We listen for Miss Carter. The seconds crawled by. The babies fussed, upset by the alarm sound. David hummed to them, a low tune that was more breath. Her eyes watered. Her cheeks were damp. She held a small flashlight. Pepper spray, she said. No fire. Someone wants you confused. The alarm suddenly cut off. The red lights died. The building went quiet in a way that felt wrong. Then all the lights came back on at once. Full power. The hum returned. The fridge clicked alive. The heat flowed. The silence cracked and fell away. A new sound rose. A vibration. It came from the table. Olivia's phone danced against the wood. Unknown number calling. Olivia stared at the screen. She pressed accept and tapped speaker. A woman's voice filled the room. It was smooth and bright. It sounded like a smile that had teeth. Good evening, Olivia, the voice said. You have the babies. I want the babies. Bring them to the south gate of Central Park in 1 hour. You will come alone. If you call the police, I will know. If you bring your friend from child services, I will know. If you do not come, I will take them anyway. Your building is full of doors. No one spoke. Who is this? Olivia said. You know, the voice said. You found my note. I will call again in 30 minutes to hear you say yes. Be smart. The line clicked dead. Rachel let out a small sound, the kind that sits between a cry and a whisper. David closed his eyes just for a second. Miss Carter's face changed from calm to steel. We do not meet her alone, Miss Carter said. We do this right. Olivia nodded fast. We set a trap, she said. We choose the place. We choose the time. We bring help. Miss Carter moved into action. David, keep feeding and holding the twins. Rachel, you sit right there. Do not open that door for anyone. Olivia, we plan in the kitchen. Phones on silent except for mine. They stepped into the kitchen. They spoke low and clear. Central Park South Gate is wide open, Miss Carter said. Too many exits. Bad idea. We switch it, Olivia said. We send a message that we can only meet at the clinic on Park Avenue in the family room. Public. Cameras. Guards. You and police wait inside out of sight. She will not like that, Miss Carter said. But if she wants money or control or to scare you, she might agree. Olivia looked out at David kissing the tops of his boys' heads. He made a soft sh sound. The twins blinked back at him. Her chest ached, but it was a strong ache. Like a heart that had woken up and did not plan to sleep again. The phone buzzed again. Unknown number. 30 minutes had passed. Olivia put it on speaker. Yes, the voice said. You will bring them. We will meet you at the clinic on Park Avenue, Olivia said. Family room. It is safe for the babies. You will be on camera. Silence on the line. Then a low laugh. You are brave, the voice said. And careful. Fine. 1 hour. If I see police, I walk. The line cut. Miss Carter nodded. We informed the police anyway, she said. Plain clothes inside. 2 cars around the block. Mr. Reed will watch the cameras. We move in a group. Olivia, you walk in first and sit where the camera sees you. David comes through back door with the twins 5 minutes later. I stand in the hall with a nurse. Rachel stays here or comes with me. Your choice. Rachel's face was gray with worry. I am coming, she said. I will not run. Then you follow my lead, Miss Carter said. They moved fast. Olivia packed diapers, bottles, food, tiny hats, the small fever medicine, 2 blankets. She put her long coat on and tucked her hair into a cap. David zipped the twins into soft suits and checked their tiny socks twice. Rachel wiped her eyes and tied her hair back. The city outside had moved from evening to night. The windows showed 1,000 lights. The streets below glowed gold and white. They left the apartment together. The hall smelled clear again. The elevator doors opened. Miss Carter shook her head. Stairs, she said. We do not get stuck. They went down 1 floor and crossed to the 2nd stairwell. It was bright, clean, and empty. Their steps made small sounds. On the 17th floor landing, Olivia's foot hit something thin. She looked down. A strip of clear tape ran across the step where the next foot would land. It held a thin line, almost invisible, tied to the handle of a janitor's cart left just out of sight. If someone tripped the line, the cart would roll and crash down the stairs. Olivia stopped short. She lifted her hand to warn the others. Trap, she said. They stepped over the line. Miss Carter snapped a photo and sent it to the officer's number with 1 fast text. They kept moving. 16, 15, 14. On 13, a door below creaked open. A footstep. Then another. The sound of someone trying to move quietly but not quite knowing how. David turned, putting his shoulder between the sound and the babies. Miss Carter raised a hand. Stop, she whispered. The footsteps paused. Then they ran. Back up, Miss Carter said. Go. Now. They climbed fast to the 14th floor landing. Olivia looked down through the rails. A shape in a black cap darted into the stairwell and looked up. The face flashed in the light. It was the man from the lobby. He saw them. He smiled a small, mean smile. He grabbed the janitor's cart and shoved. The cart rolled. It jumped 2 steps at a time, squealing. It hit the clear tape they had not tripped. The tape snapped. The cart bounced and flipped, wooden mop handles spilling like sticks. It crashed at the turn and stuck there across the stairs like a gate. The man swore. He backed out the door he came in and vanished. They breathed. Keep going, Miss Carter said. They took the stairs to 10. They crossed to the 1st stairwell. They went down to the lobby. Mr. Reed opened the door with a key. He looked at their faces. He did not ask questions. He handed Olivia a small black cap and said, for the cold, like it was any other winter night. 2 plainclothes officers waited by the service exit. One nodded at Miss Carter. They left through the side door to avoid the front. The street was quiet. A patrol car idled half a block away with its lights off. The officers slipped into a gray sedan across the street. The city hummed like a big cat purring and dreaming. They walked fast to the clinic. The glass doors glowed. The night receptionist looked up and smiled with relief when she saw Miss Carter. We are ready, she said. Family room is set. They stepped inside the small family room. It had soft chairs, a table, a toy box, and a big poster of a smiling giraffe. The air smelled like soap and paper. Miss Carter pointed. Olivia, sit there near the camera, she said. Rachel, sit by the door with me. David, wait outside the back door with the twins. When I text you, come in. Olivia sat. Her hands were steady even though her heart was not. She put the diaper bag by her feet and kept her eyes on the door. The clock on the wall ticked. The second hand made its small jumps. The minute hand moved like it had all the time in the world. The room felt both slow and fast. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. The door opened. The door opened. A woman stepped in. She wore a neat black coat and a scarf that looked expensive but simple. Her hair was smooth. Her smile was wide and friendly, the kind of smile that could sell anything. Olivia, she said like they had been friends for years. So good to finally meet you. Olivia did not stand. Vivian, she said. Vivian's smile reached her eyes, but the eyes did not change. They stayed cold and careful. She looked around the room once, slow and sure. She looked at the camera and gave it a small wave like it was a child she liked. You brought the babies, Vivian said. Good. Where are they? Close, Olivia said. Safe. Vivian's head tilted. "Do not play games," she said softly. "You will lose." Miss Carter stepped into the doorway. "I am with Child Services," she said. "We will talk with the babies present and safe. If not, there is nothing more to say." Vivian's smile flickered. "What a busy day for you," she said. "First you warn me about cameras. Now you bring a babysitter with a badge." Miss Carter did not rise to it. "Sit," she said. Vivian sat. She crossed one leg over the other. She placed her hands on her knee, fingers neat. "Why do you want the boys?" Olivia asked. Simple and straight. Vivian laughed like a bell. "Want?" she repeated. "What a funny word. I do not want them. I want Rachel to keep her word. She owes me." She left. She took names and work and a small bag of cash, I am sure. She thinks her children can make me soft. They do not. But they can make her move. That is all. "So you sent a man to the lobby," Miss Carter said. "Pepper spray in a building with babies." Vivian's smile grew thin. "I sent a messenger," she said. He got excited. "It happens." Miss Carter leaned forward a little. "You made threats on a recorded line," she said. "And you pulled a fire alarm. That is a crime." Vivian shrugged once. "Prove it," she said. The back door opened. David stepped in with the twins in the sling. Vivian's eyes went to them like a magnet finding a nail. Her breath changed. She sat a little straighter. "Beautiful," she said. "They will have a fine life if Rachel learns how to say yes." Rachel stepped around the doorway and stood where Vivian could see her. "No," she said. Her voice was not big, but it was clean. "I am not giving you my children. I will work. I will pay. But you will not touch them." Vivian's eyes cooled. "You do not get to say no to me," she said. "You never did." She reached into her coat. Miss Carter's hand went to her radio. Vivian pulled out a folded paper and slapped it on the table. "Court," she said. "Guardianship request. Filed today. The hearing is in the morning. I will win. I have a friend who signs things." Olivia did not touch the paper. "You will not win," she said. "You threatened a family on camera. You sent a man to scare babies. You pulled an alarm. Judges do not like people who scare babies." Vivian's cheeks colored for the first time. "You think your money keeps you safe," she said. "It keeps you soft." The twins stirred. Noah blinked. Ethan reached out a hand toward the toy box where a giraffe with a long neck peeked out. David swayed to keep them calm. The clinic's door chime rang in the hall. The receptionist spoke softly to someone out of view. Footsteps. A shadow slid over the frosted glass. Vivian's eyes flicked toward the door behind Olivia. Her lips curved. The wrong way. Before anyone could turn, the lights in the clinic blinked and dropped to a low emergency glow. The hallway darkened. A clatter sounded from the nurse's station. A voice shouted, "Hey," then "Stop." Miss Carter moved to the door fast. "Stay here," she told Olivia and David. "Rachel, do not move." Something hit the back door hard. The door jumped in its frame. David turned his body to shield the twins. The handle rattled. A low male voice came through the crack at the bottom. "Open up," it said. "Delivery." No one moved. The handle rattled again. Harder. Vivian smiled at Olivia without looking away from the shaking door. "One door. 2 doors," she said softly. "How many will you hold at once?" The back door shook so hard the hinge squealed. A tiny voice rose on the edge of the sound. Noah's voice. A thin, scared cry. Olivia's hand flew to her chest. She looked at David. She looked at the front door where Miss Carter had vanished. She looked at Vivian's calm face. The back door hinges groaned. The lock slipped with a sharp, ugly click. The door began to open. A boot shoved it wide and the man in the black cap stepped in. His eyes were hard and his mouth was set in a thin, cruel smile. In his hand was a metal bar, scratched and dark. The twins cried louder, their wails bouncing off the family room walls. David pressed them tighter against his chest, his body shaking, but he did not move back. He stood firm. Olivia's heart thundered. Vivian leaned back in her chair, her smile spreading wider, as though she had been waiting for this exact moment. The man swung the bar once against the wall, a sharp crack filling the room. "Give them," he barked. "Now." Everything hung in the air, one wrong move and it would break. David's breath came fast, but his voice was steady. "No." The man stepped closer. Olivia darted in front of David, her arms outstretched, shielding him and the twins. Her voice rang clear. "You'll have to go through me." The man sneered. "Rich lady thinks she's brave." He raised the bar again. Just then Miss Carter burst back through the front door, 2 plainclothes officers behind her. Police. Drop it, one officer shouted, pulling a weapon. The man froze, his eyes flicking to Vivian. Vivian's smile cracked. Do something, she snapped. But the man hesitated too long. One officer lunged, grabbing his wrist. The bar clattered to the floor. The second officer shoved him down, handcuffing him in seconds. The twins' cries filled the sudden silence. Vivian shot to her feet. This is illegal, she shouted. You can't. You threatened infants, Miss Carter cut her off. You pulled alarms. You filed false papers. You're done. Vivian's eyes flashed. She grabbed the folded guardianship papers from the table and ripped them in half with shaking hands. This isn't over, she hissed. You don't know who I know. The officers moved toward her. She backed up, but there was nowhere to go. She was cornered. Her hands trembled as the cuffs clicked around her wrists. For the first time, Vivian's smile vanished completely. Rachel's eyes filled with tears. She covered her mouth with her hand and whispered, "She's gone. Finally gone." The room fell quiet except for the twins, still hiccuping small cries. David's shoulders slumped, the weight of fear sliding off him all at once. His knees buckled, and he sank to the floor with the boys in his arms. "It's over," he whispered, though his voice cracked. Olivia knelt beside him, her hand brushing his arm. "You kept them safe," she said. "You did." Rachel stood frozen by the wall, her face pale. Her eyes went from Vivian being led away, to David on the floor with the babies, to Olivia at his side. For the first time she looked small, unsure. Miss Carter broke the silence. "Listen to me," she said firmly. "The threats are over. The children are safe. But there's more work to do. We'll move fast on custody papers and you'll both have choices to make." David looked up, eyes wet. "Choices?" "Yes," Miss Carter said. "Rachel, if you want to stay in their lives, you'll need to prove stability. David, if you want full custody, the court will need proof of your care. And Olivia," she paused, her gaze softening. "You've stepped into this family in ways no one expected. The question is, are you ready to make it official?" The words hung heavy. David looked at Olivia. Olivia looked back, her heart pounding, knowing this moment could change everything. Then a nurse rushed in, her face pale. "It's Noah," she said quickly. "His fever just spiked again. We need him in the emergency ward right now." David's face drained of color. He clutched the sling tighter. Olivia's stomach twisted. Rachel gasped. "Move," Miss Carter ordered. The officers cleared the path. David ran down the hall, the twins pressed to him. Olivia and Rachel followed close behind. Nurses pushed open double doors. The bright lights of the emergency ward poured out. And just as David crossed the threshold, Noah gave a tiny gasp, sharp, thin, and frightening. The monitor alarm shrieked. And the room filled with the sound of rushing footsteps.